Hey ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here is a fragrance that I missed. So this one actually came out 3 years ago in 2018. It's by the company Yves Saint Laurent. I guess better late than never. This one is called Cologne Bleue. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Cologne Bleue by Yves Saint Laurent, and I tell you all about this fragrance that I happen to miss from 2018, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do put out these videos, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. So of course, I am a fan of the original L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. Kind of has like that apple ginger vibe about it. It's a little bit spicy as well. One of my most complimented fragrances, as a matter of fact. And then of course we also have La Nuit de l'Homme, and that one has that spicy cardamom vibe. Cardamom is also an ingredient in this one too, in addition to black pepper, if I'm not mistaken. So it actually has a bit of a spicy herbal thing going on. There's also thyme in here, perhaps a little bit of clary sage as well, but it's largely oceanic and aquatic. And so when you take a look at the name Cologne Bleue, if you told me it was going to be called L'Homme Cologne, I would have said, oh, cologne, it's going to be a lighter version. If you told me it was going to be called L'Homme Bleue, I would have said, oh, blue, it's going to be a lighter version. But L'Homme Cologne Bleue, double the freshness. I'm just teasing, but I'm excited to tell you what I get in terms of the smell. Let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation, despite the fact that it's only a travel atomizer. So the perfumer for this fragrance is Juliette Caregezoglu, and I could be mispronouncing that, I do apologize. And this fragrance opens up with a bit of a mintiness, which I really enjoy. And there's something a little fruity, maybe a little apple, a little mintiness as well. And I'm certainly picking up on that mint note. And I know there was another flanker for YSL, and it kind of smelled like Versace Eros. Now, Versace Eros also contains mint. So it's mint, tonka bean, and vanilla. And this one seems like a lighter version of that flanker. I'm forgetting the name of it now, but I know I had reviewed it on my channel recently, and I actually had a comment on it recently from a subscriber, which is what reminded me. So it has a bit of like this fresh, oceanic, slightly peppery, minty thing going on in the opening. And the citrus is loud and clear in the opening. There's a little bit of a tart quality. I don't know if there's grapefruit in here, but it seems like a nice balance between like an orangey aspect, maybe tangerine, a little bit of grapefruit, but it's definitely aquatic, oceanic, peppery, and minty. And so the opening is really inviting. It's really refreshing. I really enjoy the opening. And then the fragrance transitions into like this plain woodsy base. And so it seems like, for me at least, although there are quite a number of notes in here, it seems like this fragrance evolves from one distinct phase to a second and final distinct phase. And I think the opening of this fragrance, when you have that amplified freshness and the mintiness and the citrus, is really the most enjoyable part of this fragrance. Now, because of its diffusiveness and because of the volatility of a lot of these citrus and minty notes, you're gonna be left with that smooth, rather plain woodsy base after about 20 to 30 minutes of application. And so what I can say about this fragrance is that it opens up very enjoyable, very likable. It's definitely the type of DNA that one would enjoy or feel comfortable wearing in an office environment. I think a lot of people are going to really like this one. It has an aura of mass appeal about it. I think it caters to a wide audience as well, despite the fact that it's marketed for men, but I think anyone will be able to enjoy it quite thoroughly. But I feel like the base is a little uninspiring. And so I found that it quickly not evolved, but devolved into this sort of very plain cedarwood base while still borrowing some of those oceanic nuances from the top and heart. So for me personally, it's one of my least favorite flankers from Yves Saint Laurent, even though it's very easy to wear, very easy to pull off. That mintiness that's in here is actually really likable as well. I think that had there been something a little bit sweeter to sort of complement the woodsy notes in the base, that would have been quite cool as well. Although I get it, they were trying to take it away from that other YSL flanker that kind of smells like Versace Eros. So trying to create that distinction in the aroma profiles is probably what they were aiming to do with this one. But it seems like a very mass marketed, albeit pleasant fragrance, and dare I even say a little generic as well. But again, if you are just a casual consumer of fragrances, you just want something that's going to get you compliments, something that smells good, something that you can wear with a great degree of ease, and something that's not going to receive any sort of criticism from those around you, I think L'Homme Cologne Bleue is that type of fragrance to wear. Myself personally, I love La Nuit de l'Homme Le Parfum. I think that's what it's called. There's also a L'Intense version of La Nuit de l'Homme, and I also like the original L'Homme, as well as many of the other flankers. Even L'Homme Libre was one that had violet leaf in there, and it was this very cool and clean masculine fragrance. I mean, they have a lot of really great flankers. Some of them have been discontinued, unfortunately, and Cologne Bleue is not one of my favorites, and I think that kind of speaks to the fact that I don't have a full bottle of it. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, it's not a very unique fragrance. You can tell it's sort of following the trends of the other aquatic, fresh, mainstream designer fragrances, but the overall smell is very appealing. Very appealing. People are going to enjoy it. You are not going to run into any snags while you're wearing this one. People are just going to think that you smell great, well groomed. And hey, if that is your purpose, if you're looking for a functional fragrance, and it definitely fulfills that category. And so longevity on this one was about 6 to 7 hours on my skin. So not great, could be a little bit better. The projection on this one was great for the first 2 hours to 2.5 hours of application. I guess while those bright and effervescent notes are still around. Versatility is also very good. I probably just wouldn't wear it in the dead of winter just because I don't think it would withstand the harshness of the cold season. But I think this one can be worn very comfortably in the spring and summer. I find this one to lean a little bit masculine, but you guys know my philosophy when it comes to fragrances. I find all fragrances to be unisex, and I think that this one has definitely a casual vibe as opposed to like a formal vibe, a dressed up suit and tie kind of a vibe. The presentation on this one is very similar to the others. Clear bottle, silver cap, if I'm remembering it correctly. So very simple with that hexagonal cap. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, if you are a fan of fresh fragrances, and I'm not even going to say if you're a fan of any of the other Yves Saint Laurent fragrances, because this one stands out on its own. But if you're just generally a fan of fresh fragrances, you don't want anything daring, anything that's going to push any envelopes or, go beyond any boundaries. If you just want something that plays it safe, I think you will be pleasantly surprised by Cologne Bleue, or L'Homme Cologne Bleue by Yves Saint Laurent. However, if you're looking for something with a little pizzazz, something that's a little bit more interesting, I would definitely recommend either the original La Nuit de l'Homme or any number of other flankers from the brand that are a little bit more strong in their prowess, or in their appeal, or their basically all of the notes that are contained that give it that extra air of intrigue and allure. And I feel like this one was a little bit more on the plain side, and it didn't really carry that forward. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know not everything can be a winner, but if you do have any experience with this fragrance or any other fragrance from this collection, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. I always love the interaction. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you could support this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.